The Adams Archive.
The Pentagon announced an accounting error which provided an extra $6.2 billion for Ukraine. $6.2 billion, and that's an accounting error. $6.2 billion. Could you imagine if you worked for a finance company and you messed up so bad that you gave somebody $6.2 billion extra? That's probably never happened ever in the history of finance. $6.2 billion. What type of accounting error could that have been? And does anybody actually believe that it's an accounting error? Because I don't think there's probably a single person in the White House or the Pentagon that you could find that actually agrees with that statement. How stupid do you think the American people are that you believe that we would believe you after all things that we've found out about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, the White House, the military industrial complex with Ukraine, that this came from the result of, oops, press the wrong button. Darn it, not another $6 billion. How dumb do you think the American people are that you can come up here and make a statement like that? Speaking of statements, let's go ahead and listen in.
Following up from some announcements earlier this year, during the department's regular oversight of presidential drawdown authority for Ukraine, we discovered inconsistencies in equipment valuation for Ukraine. In a significant number of cases, services used replacement costs rather than net book value, thereby overestimating the value of the equipment drawn down from U.S. stocks and provided to Ukraine. Once we discovered this misvaluation, the comptroller reissued guidance on March 31st, clarifying how to value equipment in line with the financial management regulation and DoD policy to ensure we use the most accurate of accounting methods. We have confirmed that for FY23, the final calculation is $3.6 billion, and for FY22, it is $2.6 billion, for a combined total of $6.2 billion. These valuation errors in no way limit or restricted the size of any of our PDAs or impacted the provision of support to Ukraine. And while the DoD retains the authority to utilize the recaptured PDA, this has no bearing on appropriated USAI or Ukraine PDA replenishment funding approved by Congress.
Okay, you just throw out a bunch of acronyms so we don't know what you're saying. But I know what you're saying, lady. Could you imagine being her? It's like her first day and they just have to, they're like, okay, by the way, I know here's your notes. But also we need to tell the American people that we accidentally miscalculated $6.2 billion of their tax money and just sent it to Ukraine. What an interesting first day that must have been for this woman. I'm sure it wasn't her first day, but it's the first time I've seen her. Anyways, this goes on to say, and this comes from DC Drano, he says, insane. Pentagon announces an overpayment of $6.2 billion to Ukraine and calls it an accounting error. How much do you want to bet a good chunk of that accounting error landed in the pockets of Ukrainian oligarchs? Yup. Wow. All right. Now, let's talk about this, because if you or I make a error on our tax returns resulting in, let's use a crazy number here, $60,000 accounting error, that wouldn't be a small percentage fraction of what happened here. Let's just use 10,000. Let's use 10,000 here. If you miscalculated your taxes by $10,000, the IRS, as we found out recently, can literally knock down your door with weapons drawn, as they did to a gun store owner recently. But they make a $6.2 billion error and, make it a 1-minute conversation in the press conference. At what point do we reclaim our tax system, right? What I find to be the craziest thing, like the federal income tax, like when was the federal income tax created? Because I believe it was like the frickin' 80s or something. Might even be later than that. It says the first American income tax was imposed during the Civil War in 1861 with flat 3% tax on all incomes over $800. So not the 80s. But it wasn't officially enacted that we know it today until 1913 was when the federal income tax as we know it now was officially enacted. That was literally your great grandparents didn't have to deal with the federal income tax. And now you have people giving 40% of their income to the government, and they're misspending it on proxy wars so that Hunter Biden can smoke meth off of a stripper's butt cheek in Donetsk. Meanwhile, they'll kick down your door over $10,000 miscalculation on your taxes. The whole federal income tax thing is, I cannot believe we're in a place now where they take such a large percentage of your money. And yet we have to sit here and listen to the nonsense that they talk to us about, where they take that tax money that they would have, put you in jail if you didn't tell them about, and then send it to wherever this fictional place is where these, billionaires in Ukraine get their hands on it, or even worse yet, the military industrial complex organizations of the world.